after 4 years of living in my apartment, it finally happened.
What?
There was an enormous cockroach in my shower this morning.
Why do you tell me this? Why are you being mean?
No, I'm not trying to be. I had to wake my husband up at 4 in the morning. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I woke my husband up. I was like, you have to kill it. Yeah, and then I had a conversation walking Daisy to school today. I was like, if Daddy Steve was out of town, you would have had to kill the cockroach. She's like,
she would
okay,
have been fine with it.
She would have been too.
She doesn't give a shit. Hello, Patrick Hines.
I want to thank you for bringing this documentary into my life.
You know what? No problem. It is part of that trashy Curious Case series that's capitalizing on the Curious Case of Natalia Grace.
We said we weren't going to do, but
that
here we
fever
are.
dream.
Yeah.
But this is the last episode, and it's the only full-length one. So I was like, we need a one-off for the regular feed. Done and done.
Oh, nice. Fam, do me a favor, join the Facebook group. It's the True Crime Obsessed podcast discussion group. I love it so much. It's very active. It's highly moderated by Sasha. It's a very safe, fun place to come hang out on the internet.
Yeah.
One other thing, we got a Patreon. I don't know if the people know.
We have a pretty hefty Patreon.
It's pretty hefty. We are right now in the middle of sending out our Pride gift to our Hero Bell tier.
Yes.
So that's our tier that we send you some stuff a couple times a year. We make special bonus episodes just for y'all.
Yeah.
But at the $5 level, you get a full-length bonus episode ad-free every week. You get monthly drag bingo.
You get like at least what? What do we promise? Three a month?
You get 3 a month, but it's always 4. We make at least 50 a year.
Yeah, I think we only take off like Patreon weeks.
Maybe once or twice.
Sporadically throughout the year.
It is so much you and me. Right now, we're in the middle of the Karen Reed doc.
Oh my
God.
God.
The 5 episode. I mean, I'm just
Snow.
absolutely obsessed.
Yeah, we just did the Fox Hollow murders. We're definitely doing Hey Beautiful. I promise you we're doing it.
I just got a bunch of DMs about that today, too. I don't even know anything about it. Is it men getting murdered for telling women to smile?
No, you'd think. It's women getting tricked into sending a scammer $50,000.
No.
One does it on her own accord, $500,000. I can't even get into it. We will get into Hey Beautiful. It's definitely on the calendar.
Patreon.com/TrueCrimeObsessed, or just click the link in the show notes here. What are we talking about today, girl?
The Curious Case of the Doomsday Cat Cult on ID or HBO Max.
It's so insane.
Yeah.
When did you think, I'm in a cult?
I probably realized I was in a cult the moment the cat stuff started happening. The message Cheryl would give about these cats were they were of God, and that we were to care for them with the utmost care and love and attention. And if we save these cats today, we will be saved in the day of Armageddon or the apocalypse. So we had to take the cats. No matter how many, no matter how much work it was, we had to take the cats if she said, take these cats. You couldn't say no. You did not have the right to say no. Like if we said no, then we'd have to leave. And why would you leave the person that's gonna save you when hell's gonna break out on earth? Why would you leave that person? You better just, buck up and take care of the cats so you don't die.
Well, Beth Karras is here, of course.
So Beth Karras
She doesn't miss a party.
No, she doesn't miss a party. She was prominently featured in The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. So I think when they decided to go to series with this thing, they're like, we can only do it if Karras says yes.
Yeah, I don't know if she's in any of the other ones.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I've heard some horrible things about this series.
Really?
So I don't know. I just went right. I was like, ooh, this one is an hour and 24 minutes. Done.
Yeah. Well, I love it because there's cats. There's obviously lesbians.
Sure.
I am so happy to have gotten some awesome lesbians in this one.
Hi, Mary. We'll get to you soon.
Mary, I love you. So, and she's got a beautiful singing voice. She's like a Lilith
great.
Fair lesbian. I am obsessed.
She has like one of my favorite ending moments of a documentary.
Yeah.
I just think she's like, I want to, anyway, I love her. So we're in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, and we meet Mary Walker, not the Mary we're talking about. This Mary's not bad. I'm just saying.
She's great.
She is Mark Walker's wife.
All the Marys in this one are great, except for the lady who thinks she's Mary Magdalene.
I can't even
after watching the DaVinci Code one time, I can understand why you'd want to be Mary Magdalene after watching the DaVinci Code.
I didn't see the DaVinci Code, nor did I read the book.
Oh, I read the whole thing in like 2 days, which is, it's designed for you to read it in 2 days and make you feel smart because you're talking about art and shit or whatever. I'm surprised. It's one
and like Jesus though
and
too, right?
very Jesus-y, but it's all about how like the cults and you would love
the
it.
The church hated it.
Yeah, of course,
right.
Of course. It is. I was obsessed. Totally.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I
can't believe I missed it. I felt like a lot at the time, and I was kind of like, oh.
It was its own cult, for
I don't
sure.
know what's happening here.
Like, the cover of the book, like the ad campaign for the book. Well,
they're like always looking back.
It was a picture of the Mona Lisa, and it said,
that's
and then,
right.
But then the tagline was, "Why is this man smiling?" And I was like, all right, I'm in, hook, line, and sinker. Oh. I'm in. I'm obsessed.
Am I going to read it 25 years after it came out?
You should. It's really, really good.
Is it?
It's like I said, it's meant for people like me. It's meant to make dummies feel smart, which it totally did, and I loved it.
Okay, great.
It's a caper.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So Mary and Mark both had 2 boys and a girl when they got married. That's a total of 6 kids.
Yes.
And
good math on your GP.
I was like, 6. And I say that my mom is one of 6. It's still a whole lot of kids.
My dad is the oldest of 8. He's dead now,
crazy.
but was the oldest of 8 kids. Isn't that wild?
Are you in touch with any of his siblings?
No. I wish, but no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. They had big dreams of being the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Big blended family. And that all went out the window almost immediately, says Mary.
Yeah, Mary is telling us the story, by the way, while she is loading and shooting a crossbow. Did you notice that?
She's a multitasker.
The Lara Croft of it all. Like a fucking a crossbow to me is scarier than a gun.
Nice Tomb Raider reference.
Thank you. So I barely know what it is, but thank you so much.
Cool. Not bad. Was not expecting that walking into work today.
I only know about it because of Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
That's all.
So Mark's ex-wife is named Cheryl. Yeah. Cheryl is the bride of Christ, apparently. And Mark was...
But really, though.
But is she? Yeah. And Mark was very transparent. He's like, look, my nutcase of an ex thinks she's the body of Christ or whatever.
I just have my note here. Oh, thank God Beth Karras is here.
Thank God.
They get her in real early. They get her in real early.
Thank God. So let's dive into it. Cheryl Walker Ruthven.
This is going to be such a good one. I'm so excited.
Beth Karras says,
Cheryl Walker Ruthven is a Pentecostal-style preacher based out of Bellingham, Washington. Her charismatic fire and brimstone-style preaching has attracted around 200 followers, and she's gained a reputation for pushing the boundaries of traditional faith.
She's a, quote, charismatic fire and brimstone preacher. And I'm like, Beth, you can't be both. That's like saying jumbo shrimp. It's one or the other. It's like... I'm sorry.
I've never thought about that before.
Oh, that's straight out of Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, is it really? I love Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
I saw it in the movie theater.
Me too.
With a talk back with some of the cast afterwards.
Oh, yeah. And then they used to do it all the time. And then they used to have like a lot of screenings.
They would like midnight screenings.
Yeah. We were probably at the same one many a time.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
That absolutely happened. Okay, so 2005. I have to say something. This is the thing I want to talk about for 25 minutes because I don't understand. Like, it made me feel kind of crazy.
I know you texted me about this today.
How poorly planned this whole thing was.
Yeah, there's no real good way to do it, but this is a really bad way to do it.
This is maybe the worst way to do it.
Yeah.
Knowing, like, Mary and Mark know how crazy Cheryl is.
Yes.
And I'm not using that word, like, lightly. Like, she's an abusive, insane person.
Yes.
So in 2005, Mary meets Mark's kids for the first time. All the kids and the family is coming together for the first time on a ski trip. Plus, one of them got to bring a friend.
One of the adults, but they also brought a dog. So it's 6 kids, 3 adults, and a dog.
So I'm like, it just seems like a lot for everyone to first meet each other on a ski trip. And then I'm like, some of them have to be teenagers. Someone's a grump. Does everyone even want to go?
My note here is, I know we have bigger fish to fry, but I'll never understand why anybody would go skiing.
I'm not even like, this is the tip of my iceberg about this. Because then I'm like, okay, well, now you're introducing siblings when they're potentially already grumpy. Like, this doesn't feel like a good idea.
The thing about a ski trip like this is, like, you got to get all bundled up. And
there's
now
a lot.
You're
there's like
bundled.
Equipment.
Yeah.
There's like gear.
And you know, like, a couple of the kids aren't going to be good skiers, but a couple of the kids are going to be really good skiers.
And again, everyone is meeting. Like, hi, nice to meet you. Let's get in the car and drive 4 hours to go. Like, it's just a lot.
To another country, by the way. They went into Canada to go skiing.
It's just a lot to do when everyone just met each other.
What do you think would have been, like, the best way to do it? Like, what's the
Not
idea?
this. Literally go to Chili's. Have a barbecue. Host, like, do something.
A barbecue's a good idea.
I don't know why it has to be, like, the meeting.
It's several days, and I'm assuming probably not that many rooms.
And, like,
so there's a lot of people sharing bathrooms.
That you just met. And I know, like, you're stuck with each other now.
Right,
I get it. But it's like, this family being blended and all coming together is the activity. We don't have to drive and go skiing. Totally. It just feels like a lot.
No.
But this is...
Who's picking the music? Like, oh my God.
This is nothing compared to Mary meeting Cheryl for the first time.
Right.
Because it just gets worse. Because Mary says, she was already in the driveway waiting for us. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait. Everyone is meeting Cheryl after the ski trip.
Yes.
After hours on the road, everyone's in a bad mood.
No question.
Everyone is in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like, why are you so bad at introductions? So, like, unless I'm projecting and everyone was thrilled to be skiing, thrilled to be meeting.
No.
None of the 10 people are grumpy after being with their brand new blended family all weekend.
But then they get home and the ex-wife / bride of Christ is in the driveway.
And she goes, well, Mary, okay, this is so unclear because Mary is saying.
A lot of this is unclear.
Everyone is unpacking.
It's a documentary about a cat call.
I mean, everyone is unpacking the car, hauling suitcases. All 10 people are getting all of their luggage out of the 6 cars.
You're so traumatized by
I just don't understand, like, why today? When you know Cheryl is a nightmare. Like, why?
I think that the point is that Cheryl is here to be a nightmare. She's here to make this difficult situation as hard as possible.
Because Mary says,
all of a sudden, Cheryl came in through that opened door. And she's in the living room. And I just remember standing in the kitchen thinking that Cheryl was a bit of a threat.
She's in the living room staring menacingly into the kitchen at Mary.
Yeah.
So what happened, like, I guess Cheryl was going to meet them the day they come home from a 10-person ski trip. She showed up crazy early. And instead of, I'm sorry, Mary.
She showed up crazy, early,
Mary, I'm sorry, you didn't do anything wrong here except for maybe what I'm about to say. Instead of saying, come on in, we'll unpack later, she's like, sorry, Cheryl, could you wait outside? I know you're an insane person.
I know you're the bride of Christ, but would you mind waiting outside for just another couple of minutes?
While I wrangle all of these children and like teach them how to unpack for the first time today. It's like these people who like at 5:30 on a Friday have to teach their kid how to go up and down the stairs in the fucking Union Square subway station. Not the time, Carol! It's 5:30 on a Friday and we have places to go. This is not the time to do that little one step at a time thing, 2 feet on the step. I'm sorry, when you have kids, you have to pick and choose. This is also isn't the time to like teach them how to press the elevator button.
I agree.
When you have an elevator full of people, like,
we literally just the other day, like yesterday, taught Daisy how to fold her own clothes after getting them out of the laundry.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, she looked at us like, how dare you ask me to do that? And I was like, Daisy, do I have a parent here folding my clothes and putting them away? And she's like, no. And the light bulb went off. She's like, oh my God, no, you don't. And like in that moment, she realized she was going to have to learn how to do that at some point.
Among other things.
Well, listen, it's been a whole year of like, she makes her own breakfast. She, like all of that. So this weekend's lesson was like learning how to fold her own. She literally did not know how to like fold her pants.
Oh, wow.
And we had to like teach her how to do it and like put her own shit away. It's like, my point is just like, you actually literally do have to teach your kids how to do these things, but now's not the day.
Not when like
Cheryl...
the fucking bride of Chucky's outside. Like, give me a break. Like, I'm not defending Cheryl in any way, but this is just the worst way for this to happen.
But like also, Mary, you don't have to just let your new husband's ex-wife into your house.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
You can also be like, get out of here. Like, get the fuck out of my house.
And maybe I'm misunderstanding
think so.
that Mary was like, you know what, fuck it, we just got home from a ski trip, we're going to do what we want to do, you wait outside, which I would 100% agree with. So I just backtracked on everything.
No, I'm with you. It's unclear, but I think you got it right. Beth Karras, my best friend, is telling us.
Mark and Cheryl divorced in 2004. The settlement resulted in 50-50 joint custody of the children. But eventually, the children spent more and more time with Cheryl. Now, in 2008, Mark's continued presence in the lives of the children is a source of frustration for Cheryl.
Cheryl really fucking hates this.
Well, the reason why is that they get divorced in 2004. The big ski trip meeting was in 2005. It did not take Mark long to move on, and that is often triggering for some people. Right? So, like, not only did he leave her, Christ incarnate or whatever, but, like, now he's already having the Brady Bunch holiday special ski trip.
It is funny that she's bride of Christ, but also Christ incarnate.
And she's a nightmare.
Yeah. That's a little confusing.
She doesn't mean it. She doesn't give a shit.
She's also Mary Magdalene, but not until she sees the DaVinci Code. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, my God.
So we meet now my hero lesbian cat lover, Mary Lancaster.
She's great.
I'm obsessed with her. And she's got a lot of info on like Mark and Mary. Like she gets very close to Cheryl / Bride of Christ. So she knows a lot. And Mary is telling us that like Mark's role in Cheryl's life when they were married was to be subservient. Let Cheryl be the master of this religion. Let her like be the one to call all the shots, and Mark was meant to be like the little like the wallflower.
Yeah, so Mark wasn't having it. So
No.
Mark called her out on her shit and then doubled down and divorced her.
And fought for custody of the kids. This is also known as just getting a divorce. You know what I mean?
Like in the real world.
It's just like, I always think my older sister did it. Like, they were both like, we're not happy anymore. Let's get divorced. They did it kindly and friendly.
Yeah, no murder.
No, barely a murder.
No bullshit.
No,
like, how nice is that?
Everyone just got on with their lives.
But Cheryl doesn't subscribe to that because after Mark really fought hard for this custody and this visitation. Cheryl didn't want him to be in the kids' lives at all, which is like not how this works, Cheryl.
No.
When Mark is not an abusive asshole, like that's not how it works. So Cheryl then, again, like ever the mature one.
Right.
Cheryl is now talking shit about Mark to her, quote, congregation.
And making up lies about him. And this really makes me crazy. She's saying that he's abusive, like physically, financially. Mark will eventually tell us that she got a $750,000 settlement from him. And she's out there telling the congregants and their shared children that he never paid child support.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's fucking horrible.
She tells him...
My dad actually didn't pay child support.
Neither did my grandfather.
It was ordered to pay child support. And we were growing up in Section 8 housing on food stamps, and my dad had the money and refused to pay it. Like, that's a son of a bitch. Mark is not that guy. Mark is not that dad.
Right, 100%.
You know?
But according to Cheryl, he was...
I mean, no disrespect to my grandmother, Teresa. She was probably fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mark, apparently, according to Cheryl...
She was telling her congregation that he was manifesting demons, that he was a devil named Baphomet, and that I was a reincarnated temple whore named Ashra.
I was a reincarnated temple whore named Asherah.
I'm like, girl, same. Tell me about it.
A reincarnated temple whore.
Yeah. And everyone's like, got it, taking notes.
Totally.
Cheryl is telling her cult that Mark has to die, like Earl. Because Earl had to die.
Because
like,
Earl did have to die.
Fuck Earl.
Yeah.
But again, that's the chicks, everyone.
Yeah. So who once retweeted us?
And yes, Mary from the cult is like, I'm ashamed to say this, but I very often prayed for Mark's death. Because back then, I was told he was evil and needed to go.
Yes.
And also, as Mary is telling us this, she's wearing a yellow shirt with black cats all over it.
Yes.
There's a cat climbing wall set thing behind her. Some of the cult stuff stuck.
I know.
Just kidding, Mary. We love you. We know the cats came first. We'll get into it.
We gotta be clear when we're talking about Mary the new wife and Mary the lesbian. How do we do it?
I guess Mary the lesbian.
Are we allowed to say Mary the lesbian? Because I love her so much.
She talks about how she's gay. I don't know why. And it's not an insult to call someone a lesbian.
Great.
So, oh my God, this asshole. 2008, Rick Madrid joins the cult.
Yeah.
And I know that no one joins a cult, but for the sake of the storytelling, Rick joins the cult.
And he's such a piece of shit. He's like, he totally stuck out from the congregation. We hear this podcast interview that he did in 2021, and he's like, I'm just like I'm a bros bro.
I'm a heathen kind of guy, you know what I mean? I'm just a guy. I ride motorcycles and I grew up on horses and horseback, and I'm one of those guys. I drink beer and I fight.
I'm one of those guys. I drink beer.
And I'm like, okay, and how many times have you thought about kissing a dude? Because it feels like it's consuming you.
Are you asking me?
How?
Because I'm thinking about it right now.
I get it. You're a guy. I totally get it. How many times can you say it in 10 seconds? Calm down.
He's like the no homo of it all.
And he's like, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
So Rick comes to a service and Cheryl's like, that one targets him immediately.
Yes.
She's all over him, love bombing him, giving him these like amazing prophecies. Because Mary's like, he was the bad boy of the cult. And I'm like, Mary girl, no.
But what Rick doesn't understand is that she's manipulating you. Like
with sex.
Right. And like he thinks he's like above it and he's better than all these other men who aren't men that are in the cult who are sincere. She's getting you. She knows, like, that's what these, and Beth Karras is going to say it 1,000 times. This is the one thing that cult leaders are really good at. They know exactly what the person needs to feel special. Like, Rick, she used you, you idiot.
Yeah, she used you. And even
though you're a bros bro.
The sex was so amazing. Rick was having visions, and I'm like, of men?
I know.
Rick, I get it. You're the straightest man to ever live. You've made that very clear.
They are kind of gay visions. Like, he's like, we're in a
underwater.
waterfall. I know. We're going down a stream. And he also calls it making love, which I can't stand. No gay would ever.
No. But like the longer Rick was with Cheryl, the stronger she got because it all comes back to Rick's manhood. I'm like, what is happening? Like, you fell for it.
How long until we get to the cats?
Like, not soon enough. So the point is...
He goes, she was something. I don't know what it was, but she was something. And I just wrote, okie dokie.
She was manipulative. Okay, like whatever. So point is, Mark needs to die. Rick will replace him. And Rick is the new spiritual father and husband.
Yeah.
And Rick admits on this podcast, like, I have to, like, much like Mary, he's like, oh, Mark's death was literally all we talked about.
Everybody would walk around the church and proclaim how Mark is going to die. How she explained it was a spiritual thing.
Like, the whole point of the cult at that time was like how are we going to get Mark to be dead?
I mean, she really was out to have him murdered. Like, there's no question about that.
And what they try to say, like, well, it'll be a spiritual thing. Like, one day he'll just fall over and die. Like, not murder necessarily. He'll just die, and it'll be because we prayed on it.
And I know that I'm a dummy who's just waiting for the lesbians and the cats, but it was at this moment that I realized we hadn't seen Mark yet. And I was like, oh,
I know.
shit.
Yeah.
Is he actually dead?
Because and what's happening is like Mark's not dying and Cheryl's getting pissed.
Yep.
And so now she wants Rick to like move things along a little bit.
Yeah, so she buys an AR-15.
Well, first what she does is she makes herself the prophet, obviously. Right. And you never, ever, 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 ever say no to the prophet.
Of course not.
And then because of that, she brainwashed everyone.
Remember the one that had like the inflatable hot tub and that was like in the living room all the time and she like drank vodka as medicine?
That's Love Has Won. That's Mother God.
Yes. Do you think they know each other?
No. These two would not get along.
Oh, Mother God and Cheryl.
And this one, no
Mother
way.
God and Mary Magdalene would
They would
not.
kill each other.
They would.
Well,
they'd be drowning each other in that inflatable hot tub.
They would hate each other.
It'd be kind of amazing to put them on a reality show.
Oh, I wouldn't watch a single second. Can you imagine? That's so wouldn't that aggravate you to
No,
watch
I would
them
watch
just
the
bicker
living
and scream?
because one of them is turning bluer and bluer and bluer. You know what I mean?
You're like, turn off that racket. It's just racket.
The cats are just all over them.
So she makes herself the prophet, who you never say no to. And then she brainwashed everyone, especially Rick, about how Mark had to die. And then on top of that, she buys Rick an AR-15 and is like, go do target practice.
And like,
pretend it's Mark.
All they do. They do target practice all day long.
But for specifically Mark.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I thought he was supposed to, quote, keel over. But apparently he wasn't keeling over fast enough because the bullshit doesn't work because the cult's not real.
Right, exactly.
And so now she wants Rick to shoot and kill him.
And like, Rick, you're like, once again, you're such a man's man who can't be manipulated, except she's getting you to fucking kill this guy.
I know.
You know what I mean?
And Rick eventually is like, I kind of can't believe how far it got. Like, thankfully, by the time 2021 rolls around, he finally thinks like, oh shit. Like, what was I thinking?
We're back in 2008, and Mary says that she and Mark have been living in Bellingham, Washington for 10 years, and Rick Madrid, who's doing target practice basically like on Mark every day, has been to their house a bunch of times because he's now married to Cheryl, and Cheryl is coming to their house all the time to pick up the kids.
They're casing the joint.
So Mary is saying like they're getting the layout, like they were planning this murder.
Yeah, and then one day Rick shows up to the house specifically to kill Mark.
Like at the end of the driveway with the fucking like the shotgun and Rick in his sights.
And Mary, his wife, says
he had the rifle with him and he leveled the sights and he had Mark in his sights. And he had a God moment. Yes. And he decided not to pull the trigger. And we're certainly glad he did.
Quote, had a God moment and didn't kill Mark. And this is when the camera zooms out and we see that Mark is alive and well, thank God.
I screamed and Mary is crying.
Yeah.
Like Mark was seconds away from being gunned down in his own driveway.
And just had all of these people praying and wishing and plotting for his death based on nothing.
No.
So Mark is the father of 3 children in a cult.
Yeah.
His kids are in a cult. And he's like, my ex-wife is the leader of that cult. Mark is here to tell his story.
And, you know, we get Mark and we get another guy later who, like, what do you do when this happens to you? Like, there is no, what do you do? Like, there's no legal recourse.
None. And at the time, of course, Mark had no idea what Cheryl was doing and saying.
Yes.
Like, they didn't know they were casing the joint. But looking back on it, like, they're putting all the pieces together.
And also, like, Cheryl is telling everyone, including their shared children, that he's the devil, that like, and that they have to kill him. And she's like going around the dinner table, getting the kids to come up with different ways that they could murder their own father.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rick, in this interview that we're hearing from 2021, he was like, I cannot tell you, like, I don't even recognize that person. Like, who I was, like, just, like, taking an AR-15 about to kill someone I've never met. Like, but he still has to talk. He's still in the same breath.
I know.
He's, like, admitting, I'm like, oh, my God, Rick, you did the work. Amazing. Like, you're deprogrammed. It has to be about how all the other men in the cult were weak, and he was a real man. And so when Cheryl met him, there was finally a real man around. I'm like, Rick, are you okay?
Rick,
the men are not okay.
No, she showed you her boobs one more time and then got you to almost kill a guy.
What are you
Do you not
talking about?
understand how brainwashed she, like...
But it's still about how you're like a big man.
I know.
Are you all right? The answer is no. So anyway, Mark would learn about all of these attempts on his life like years later. And he didn't report it to the police because, like, as Beth says, like, nothing could really happen.
But I do think that paper trails count.
When something happens, no matter if you don't really want to make the report or make the paper trail, but you kind of have to.
Right.
Because the cops will say to you, well, until you die or you're actually injured, we can't do anything. Make the paper trail.
Because like she's eventually going to steal your kids from you, and you need some evidence to say like someday maybe your kids will snap out of this, or this will help them snap out of it, you know?
But especially knowing that someone's in a cult. Like no one did anything wrong here. Cheryl's the one doing anything wrong. But like if we're going to like tell these stories as like maybe a learning process for everyone, like if your ex-wife is in a cult and you know that she's trying to kill you, maybe like let people know.
Well, and that is the hope, is that like situations like this are always worse than you think they are.
Always.
When you're not the person in the cult, you can't just let this cult leader be like raising your kids 50% of the time, because how she is brainwashing and abusing them when you're not around, you're just not aware of it. So it's like what you're saying. This reaches a lot of people. If you're the person that like has the ex that's in the cult with the kids, do something about it.
Or also big or small. It doesn't have to be an actual cult, but if you have someone like that's what Mary, our cat lesbian friend, like that's how she sort of ends this. It's like if someone is manipulating you and isolating you, like just like look at the signs.
Yes.
Because this doesn't have to be like an official cult for you to get sucked into someone's bullshit.
Totally.
So to the surprise of no one, Cheryl is the worst.
Yeah. And even Rick figures it out. Rick leaves her.
Yeah. And like all cult leaders, you can't question her in any way. She's always yelling, always fighting.
She publicly humiliated people all the time. If you spoke illy about her and she found out, she would admonish you in front of everybody and embarrass you.
I watched her humiliate men in front of their wives by making false accusations.
She'd lie and then she'd laugh maniacally, which we have to hear from this creepy audio from 2009.
Also, like her speaking voice is very like, she needs to do some breath work, because her speaking voice is very airy, and it feels, or maybe she just does a lot of talking and like her voice is tired.
I think she's just screaming all the time.
Oh my God. And
she's
my voice hurt listening to her.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Beth, charismatic, you say?
I know.
Manipulative
I know,
is the word.
Yeah.
So let's go back to 1984 when Mark's mother tells him to go meet that gal working down at Nordstrom, and that's how he meets Cheryl.
That really struck me. Whenever, like, even Mother God was once, like, worked at the local McDonald's, remember?
Yeah.
Like, they do start out with normal jobs.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it never starts out this way.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So it's, 1984, Mark is 23. They date for 6 months. They get married.
Yeah.
After 10 months, they have their first kid. Then they have the rest of their kids.
I was like, that 10-month story sounds like some fuzzy math. You know what I mean? I wonder if the reason the marriage came so fast was because, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Maybe.
Steve's family, I think I'm okay to say this, like, if you do the math on when the first kid was born.
8 months later.
Yeah. Hi, Tiptons.
Hi. So Mark was a Christian. Cheryl wasn't religious until she discovered Gates of Praise. This is one of those, like, demons and speaking in tongues and, like, a lot of theater.
But it gets really lesbian-y really fast. Like, is she just a lesbian and, like, she's in such deep denial?
100%.
That's
a major part of this.
Yeah.
Because Debbie Lynch was the head of that cult.
They are banging in seconds.
Like, Mark says that they were obsessed with each other. He goes, it was almost like an affair. He's not sure if they were ever physical with each other. And I'm like, Mark, I'm going to go with yes.
They definitely were. Yeah.
Yes.
And fam, we're not just saying that out of nowhere. We have evidence to back it up down the road.
Yeah, that's absolutely what's happening.
Yeah.
And so Cheryl loved the attention. She loved the power. And in 2001, she ditched Debbie and go solo.
Let me ask you a question. The organizations like Gates of Praise, and whatever Cheryl calls hers in a second, where they only have like 125 followers or whatever. It's a small number, but they're like an organization. Are they all cults? Is every one of them a cult?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
In a sense, I think so.
Is that like the definite, like, can you have your own teeny tiny religion that only these certain people believe in and it's not a cult? Like, and then I guess part B of the question is like, are all cults evil and bad?
Yes, because by definition, I believe, you're asking me this on the fly, I'm not Googling this right now, but I believe that a cult by definition is all about this coercive control in some way. I would venture to say, my opinion, my feeling, as a spiritual person who wants you to believe safely and healthily in everything you believe in. I believe in prayer. I believe in all of that. But I do think on some level, all religions can be taken to cult status.
Sure.
So,
because it's like this Gates of Praise thing. Like, how does everybody going into this not know this is a cult?
I think a lot of people like the ritual of it.
Yeah.
I do think
and they're looking for community. Like, that's how people end up in cults in the first place.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, there's a lot of really attractive elements to it in some way. And then I think then you get like fundamentalists or then you just get like really strict and no one can have any fun. And then it goes kind of around the bend. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a cult. It just means that like, can you lighten up?
Well, because even in this one, everybody says about all of these little religions that turn into cults.
In the beginning, it was a place that you wanted to go because you felt that freedom, you felt that warmth, you felt that acceptance.
It started out so fun. Like, that's how it always starts.
It always does.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like looking for something, you know, and then like they're getting it in the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, and so that's what happens here. Debbie in Gates of Praise makes Cheryl an associate pastor like pretty quickly. And like this is where Cheryl becomes drunk on power because all of a sudden she loves this position of leadership. She doesn't want to be the second banana. She's got to go out and start her own thing.
So she ditches Debbie, goes solo, and she starts Freedom Fire Ministries, which definitely sounds like a cult.
I mean, Gates of Praise, Freedom Fire Ministries, they are the cultiest culting sounds.
I
you
mean,
know what I mean?
Are you kidding me? And like, you know, she just wants power and attention. It's not even about religion. It's just about her.
Yes, yes.
And like God was speaking through her. And as we have all these people talking about how charming she was, there's audio of her screaming.
I know. Jim Jones, they're always screaming.
And it reminded me
as I'm screaming.
As you well, please. But it reminded me of this moment in Big Love, if you'll allow me.
Please.
So we're at the compound, right?
Oh my God.
And so one of the true believers of Harry Dean Stanton playing Roman Grant, he's like a false prophet in Big Love. That's not a spoiler. Like, he's just like the bad guy. So they're on the compound, and like one of the true believers of him is screaming to other true believers on the compound, Roman Grant is the one true prophet, blah, blah, just like ranting and raving, getting in everyone's face. And it's like, girl, we get it. We live on the compound. Like, we agree. Yeah. And at one point, Lois Henriksen just like walks by and she goes, oh, Patsy, shut up. And it just reminded me of like, just so over it and exasperated, Patsy, shut up. You know that a couple times Mary wanted to be like, Cheryl, shut up.
Shut up.
Like, even we're here. We get it. Could you not?
That just made me think, have you seen this TikTok?
I love that scene so much. It is such an underrated scene. All my Big Love people, like, please tell me. It is so fucking great.
Oh my God. It just made me think, there was a TikTok of these people skiing. We're talking about skiing again. And they're like, one person is trying to take a picture of his wife and they're stopped. And like in between the
like on the middle of the slope?
In the middle of the mountain. And
that feels dangerous.
Or it's like at the bottom of the mountain. But
it feels even more dangerous.
In the middle of them, like, comes this older woman careening. She goes, I can't stop.
Oh no.
And then behind
is she okay?
her, but then the man behind her, no, it's the man. He goes, I can't stop. And then behind him is his older wife, Earl.
Earl? We're back to Earl? Are they all right?
I think so. But
oh my God. This is why I don't go skiing.
They're going 900 miles an hour and they can't stop.
This is why we don't go skiing.
It's terrifying. I know.
It's very scary.
I know.
Although I would go snowboarding. I have gone snowboarding.
Really?
Yeah,
But not on a party barge. Okay.
No, I fell on a lot of ice and had a bruised, like literal bruised tailbone. And I was like, well,
okay.
Everyone else looks a lot cooler, which could be said for literally anything in the world. Everyone looks cooler.
You're getting nothing bruised on a party barge is all I'm saying. Maybe your ego, but that's it.
A lot can be bruised on a party barge. So Cheryl took things from every religion and yelled at you about it. And like, this train is never late, but there was a lot of talk of end times we hear. It's always about the end times. There was a sense of dread. Fun.
I know.
Sounds so fun and charming.
That's the thing, because they're saying like, we're doing like Christianity and we're doing mysticism and we're in the woods praying to like, the mother goddess. And I'm like, oh, that sounds fun.
I'm sorry, that's like the ideal way, I think, to do religion. Take what works, leave what doesn't.
Then Lesbian Mary is the one who tells us all of that. And then she's like, but there was also so much dread and we were so sad. And I was like, oh, how do you manage to do that? Like, take the lesbians to the middle of the forest and talk about the fairies and praying to the Mother Earth or whatever. And then, but it's sad.
Because everything had or else at the end of it. That's why. Like, and it was just breeding fear, and she's the true prophet. It's like, there is no true prophet.
No, but then why do people believe it? Like, once again, it's not their fault for believing it, but why do people believe it?
Because people like Roman Grant tell you.
I know, and people are looking for community, and they're looking for meaning, and they're looking for, I get it, I understand.
And then, like, they get trapped, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So Mark doesn't buy it. So Cheryl needs to get rid of Mark.
So
now
this
we're
is back when Mark and Cheryl were still married.
And this is when she has Mark arrested on a fake domestic abuse claim.
Right.
And while Mark is sitting in jail, he's like, you know what I need? A divorce lawyer.
Because he'd been saying that he was looking for a way to get out of this marriage because Cheryl was going crazy. The kids were still very young. He was trying to figure a slow way out. But when she lies and has him arrested for like a battery charge he didn't do, that's when he's like, I'm out of here.
And then brainwashing the kids at dinner about how to kill him. He's like, I think I'm out.
Yes.
Let's talk about Rod. Rod is the ex-husband of a cult member. His wife is still in the cult.
And he lives in British Columbia, Canada.
Yeah. And so his wife was secretly going to the cult, and then one day dropped it on him out of the blue. And she's like, I want you to come to this cult with me. And Rod goes.
And literally it was like an or else, because he says like the first 3 years of our marriage were great. Then I found out my wife was secretly going to this cult. And when I agreed to go with her, things had gone from bad to like amazing. All of a sudden, like he's the apple of her eye again. She's in love with him.
She wanted.
Exactly.
Because she's
he did
him.
what she wanted, and then by virtue of like she did what Cheryl wanted.
Right.
It's
so,
all about pleasing Cheryl.
It's so annoying.
I know.
Because it's all the same shit, right?
I know,
and it's like you're pleasing this woman who's screaming at you. Rod's like, she was really big on, come on, people. That was her big word.
Yes.
Or her big phrase.
But he tells this story that like he's going to this cult with a kind of a skeptical eye, but he wants to make his wife happy. But one day he's there, and on the altar, Cheryl's got this pitcher of water and this big thing of salt. And she dumps the salt into the water, and then she tells everyone that they need to come up and drink it to like cleanse their souls
like a
or whatever.
communion kind of thing.
Yes. And he instantly thinks,
I can't help but think back in my mind about the Jonestown experience and how Jim Jones had run many trial runs prior to the poisoning of all his people that had followed him. This was a trial run.
He calls this a trial run.
Because he's saying that Jim Jones and Jonestown and that whole thing, when we
with the
covered
Kool-Aid,
this,
it's why we don't make, drink the Kool-Aid jokes, because we realized they were forcing the kids to drink it and all this horrible...
But he remembers that Jim Jones did a bunch of trial runs where he would pretend that it was laced with poison to see who would do it. And Rod says this reminded him of that. And he said she was watching to see if there was any dissenters who wouldn't drink the salt water, and there weren't any. Everybody did it.
Right.
Including him.
Yeah, and then he was like, wait a
second. But that was when he had his eye on her. That was when he was like, I knew things were bad when this happened, because it's so clearly a cult.
Right, and he wasn't in it deep enough yet that he could see the similarities in another very famous deadly cult.
Yes, and now once again, Rod, his wife, is taking their children to the cult. So it's not just the wife, it's the kids. And he's starting to lose his wife and his kids to this cult.
I just had a weird thought.
What?
Because I instantly went from like, that should be illegal.
Yes.
But then they hide behind like, you can't tell me what to do with my religion. Like, would some of this go away if we just started taxing the churches?
Oh my God. I mean, I bet the churches themselves would go away because it would no longer be a profitable business.
Right? Like if we just started taxing the churches, then...
Right.
Could we get rid of some cults? Because then somehow, like...
And they'd all go to prison. You know what I mean? Like, all the cult leaders would go to prison because that's where all the money is. Yeah.
You guys just go into the woods with Mother Earth and like be nice to people and love yourself and love others and do nice things and think of like, how can I help?
I know.
You don't need any of this.
How quickly does that have to turn into like, and don't sleep and give me all your money?
Like, or else. Why are you saying or else at the end of any of these sentences? The fairies are hanging out. Although, don't fuck with the fairies.
Don't fuck with the fairies. But put a pin in Rod. We'll come back to him. Right now, things are okay, but he's starting to like see the light.
Yeah.
And we're back in Tennessee with Mary the lesbian.
Right. And the former cult member with all the cats.
Yes.
So she was born into a conservative Christian family. She's gay, and she knew it from a young age that she had to hide her true identity. Hi, please never make your kids feel this way. Please and thank you. Like, please stop doing that.
I know. No matter how much we beg, it's never going to stop.
Love and accept your kids.
I know. That sounds so easy, right?
It's like, I mean, that's why you had them, right? To love and accept them?
Exactly.
Right?
But she tells us it was 2004. She's 27. She starts attending Cheryl's church. And she's the one who tells us it was joyful. It was so fun. Her sister Rachel joined with her at the same time. It was great.
Mary explains that
at a very young age, I knew I had to hide my true self. My first crush was on the girl in first grade, and I was in kindergarten. But because of the religious upbringing, I just knew I needed to hide that part of me.
she was always at the altar trying to pray the gay away.
Yes.
And by 17 years old, like, so she had this horrible negative reaction about how a church wasn't accepting her and religion wasn't accepting her. And on top of that, at 17 years old, Mary teaches herself how to play piano.
And that's pivotal here because one day she's in church with Cheryl and she's playing the music and Cheryl really takes an interest because she's amazing. She sings a little bit for us.
She's great.
And she sounds incredible. And
Cheryl's like, oh, this is my way in.
Yes. And so Cheryl says to Mary, when you play music, people are going to hear it. You're going to change lives and touch souls. And Mary is like, that's all I wanted.
Right.
All I wanted was to like make a difference doing my music and being in an environment where I was like celebrated and accepted. Right.
So Mary opens up a little bit and Cheryl swoops in and completely manipulates that.
And then Mary instantly falls in love with Cheryl. And Cheryl tells this crazy story that one night Cheryl invites Mary into the church. It's just them. They're at the altar. They're kneeling. The lights are low. It's candlelight. And Cheryl says, we need to go into covenant. And she says, it's not a marriage. Exactly. It's more like we're doing the work of the Lord together. But the only way we can get there is if we kiss.
Now, this is abuse because she's
100%.
using manipulation to get sex.
Yes.
This is 100% sexual abuse.
Yes.
Also, real quick, I just want to drop in here. Mary's sister Rachel is also in the cult.
Yes.
That is important.
Yes. Mary is psyched. She looks at Cheryl. She thinks she's beautiful. She's the wife of Jesus or whatever. She's going to get to be with her.
Mary's like, oh my God, I found the love of my life. And Cheryl is like, no homo. Literally, she's like, this is not homosexual. This is from God. I was like, why can't we do both?
And what Mary is saying is that, like,
There would be services where she would preach against homosexuality. Then a couple nights later, like, yeah, we're banging.
and they would be like 5, 6, 7, 8, come to my window on the record player, and they are banging.
Literally the word banging.
Like, literally, she says banging. They are banging all night long.
And
they're
again,
doing the lesbian sex.
This is abuse because Mary's being manipulated by Cheryl
Yes.
and being lied to. But Mary was like, I was conflicted, but I also didn't care because I was really hot for Cheryl.
Yes.
So Mary had like a lot, and she feels accepted in a religion.
Yep.
She's sharing her
Yep.
music, and
Yes.
she can kind of be herself, she's thinking
Yep.
and feeling. And like, there's a lot going on for Mary. And I have to say, like, based on everything we learned and what she went through, for her to sit here in her
Yes.
real self so strongly is incredibly powerful.
And it feels to me like that's the kind of person Mary has always been. She loves to live in her authenticity, which is why she struggled so much when she couldn't come out and like be who she really was. And that's probably why she found this cult, because she was looking for a place where she could go and be herself. She was looking for community.
Also, this confirms that Cheryl was definitely sleeping with Debbie from the other church.
No question.
And the cycle of abuse continues.
No question. But like, she even abused Rick. Like, she used her sexuality to get Rick to almost fucking kill her ex-husband.
Oh, yeah. What else is she doing to people we aren't speaking to?
Exactly.
What else don't we know? What else was she doing? Because she manipulates people differently, yet in the same way in a lot of ways.
And Beth Karras says 1,000 times throughout this documentary, that's her gift, is she knows what people need.
Yeah.
You know, she knows what they need, and she's able to like quickly give it to them.
Right. 4 months after the abuse starts and Cheryl starts having sex with Mary.
I am just hearing "Come to My Window" blasting.
I know.
As like the bed is creaking.
It's so good.
I know.
Cheryl dumps Mary.
Yes.
And Mary's devastated. But Mary, like, so now this is another way to like emotionally break you down.
Yeah.
Because Cheryl knows Mary's never going to leave.
Right.
And Mary's too scared to leave. So now she's like falling in love, and now she's broken her down.
Yeah.
And now Mary has to like bow down to her abuser and this person she thought she loved and still listen to everything she says, because Mary's like, if I leave this cult, I will die.
She literally thinks that Mary is so connected to Jesus that if Mary leaves the cult, God will strike her down.
Yes.
She really, really believes that.
Now we meet Sanjan,
He's
who's
the worst.
Cheryl's ex-boyfriend and a real piece of work. And before he says anything, he goes,
I'd like you to tell me what you hear.
Ringing.
It's not done yet.
not done yet.
Oh.
Guess what? The answer's still going to be ringing.
I know. I hate this guy so much. And all he wants to do is talk about how hot Cheryl was. They met on a website called Spiritual Singles in 2009. She had her own church, and basically, like, we see this guy for 2 seconds because when she couldn't, she manipulates him in one aspect where, like, she wants to be with him, but she comes to his house and he's got this, what he calls beautiful art. And some of them are nudes, and she gets him to take all the art and burn them in the backyard.
Like $50,000 worth of art
Yeah.
just destroyed. And this is when it hit me. Is insecurity the root of all evil?
Probably.
Like, I'm really asking. Like,
Yeah.
on some level, doesn't it all come back to that?
Right.
Like, she's so insecure that this guy can't have his art on the wall.
He can't have, like, paintings of nude women that aren't her.
Like, does it all come
I know.
down to that? Like, all these cult leaders, like, you can't question them. You can't just have a constructive conversation. Like, is insecurity the root of all evil?
No, yeah, for sure. It's insecurity that's matched with an ability to pretend that you have self-confidence, because none of these people actually do.
It's wild.
But it's like Mary is able to, like, she's able to make people believe that she believes all of her own shit, you know?
And do things. Because she gets off on that power that, like, I got him to destroy this $50,000 painting.
And it's once again using her sexuality, because all he wants to do is sleep with her. And then, like, in order to do that, he's got to burn $50,000 worth of art, which he does. And then they no longer have any use for each other, and, like, series rap on Sanjan.
Yeah. It's very Jenna Maroney. Using my sexuality.
I love her.
Right? Isn't that her whole thing?
Yeah,
She
yeah.
uses her sexuality.
Totally.
Okay, we're finally up to the cats, everyone.
Oh, thank God.
So as Cheryl was taking everything from all different religions,
Yeah.
one day everyone is told they have to adopt all the cats.
I love that Beth Karras is the one to give us the religion lecture on how, like, cats and religion is not a new thing.
And it's not. Thank you, Beth. Much appreciated. We know.
Yeah, but I'm also like, Beth, I love that Beth seems to know everything.
Yeah, well.
And the thing is, like, we've talked about this. I did a couple episodes of that History's Greatest Mysteries.
Right.
They give you a packet this fucking thick that you have to memorize. So I'm sure that they gave Beth, like, Beth was like highlighting the part on cats and religion.
You know, when like even at the end of shows like this, it's like written by.
Yeah, totally.
Some producer was like.
I don't think that Beth Karras has like a minor in like religious studies from BU.
No, but also you don't need a minor to know that cats are everywhere, especially like the ancient Egyptians.
No, like I guess you
yes,
like,
you do.
Did I?
You would know. Like if you're like, oh yeah, if you saw like something from the Met or the Museum of Natural History, like, and you'd be like, wow, there are a lot of cats in these paintings and in these artifacts.
They're saying that.
Now, cat obsession in religion isn't entirely new. For example, the ancient Egyptians believed that cats were vessels that could be inhabited by their gods.
Cats would be inhabited by their gods or whatever?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yes.
Why cats? Why not monkeys?
I think there's a lot of beliefs for
Why
a
not
lot
a
of different
panther?
things. I mean, there were.
You know?
But no, cats have always been like a major part.
Of religion?
Yeah, I mean, especially, I know the Egyptian, like,
You're
ancient
giving me a lot
Egyptians
of credit.
for real.
I thank you for thinking that I know these smart things.
Oh.
I went to theater school.
Oh, God. So, because Cheryl has to do everything to the extreme, like, she does it here. So, like, again, at first it sounds great. Save the cats. One day you too will be saved. I'm like, I call it karma, Cheryl, but whatever.
Well, speaking of, we're at Ava's Eden.
Well, Cheryl has rebranded the cult. Now it's Eva's Eden. It's a cage-free shelter for cats. So they'd
Which
go...
is like, sounds great on its face.
Sounds great. Like, they'd go around Washington saving the cats, take care of them, nurse them back to health if needed, help them find loving homes. Like, again, it all sounds great. And, like, it always sounds great in the beginning, even when it's a rebrand.
But explain to me why she has to do this. So Cheryl then insists.
Volunteers would pick up between 30 to 50 cats, sometimes more.
Cheryl would stand up and say, when you take these cats home, they are your number one priority. They come before your husbands and wives, and they come before your children.
The cats have to come first above everyone else. If you have children, fuck the kids.
Yeah.
The cats come first. They were fed first. They were kept in these pristine conditions, allegedly, which we will learn is not at all true.
But it's also not possible. No matter how much pretty litter you have, your house is going to stink if you have 30 cats.
And, like, she'd then make it a competition. Like, we have 35 cats. Like, in Office Space, like, the pieces of flair. And she's like, if you want me to have 37 pieces of flair, just tell me. The minimum is 15. I have 15. Like, please. So, like, people had over 50 cats.
I know. And this is where, like, Connie's been with us throughout. But Connie is, like, really going
Connie was losing it. She's like, there's no way you can keep yourself or your home or your cats or anyone clean.
It's like, just the cats are destroying that. Now, we had cats for a long time. We had 2. And we've talked about this in all the pretty litter ads. It's impossible to keep a litter box clean, as fresh as possible, even with 2 cats. And Connie's like, we would have litter boxes. We'd have like 5 in every room.
Yeah.
The house smelled like a combination of bleach, cat piss, and litter box. It literally makes you go insane.
It's like abusive to the people. It's abusive to the cats. It's like Connie's miserable. She's crying all the time. She was just having meltdowns.
I know.
Like, you can't, because then, like,
over cats.
And then you go to, like, the cult or whatever these people do every day to be, like, screamed at by Cheryl, and then you come home to this house, like, this house of abuse. It's just like, it would make your head spin.
Because if you didn't take the number of cats Cheryl wanted you to take, she would publicly humiliate you.
And, like, you'd be exiled, and you'd lose your house, and you'd lose everything. And
Connie's like, when people would say no to her, they would get kicked out of the cult, they would lose their house, lose their job, lose their footing. She goes, I don't know how she did it. She just had the connections.
Like, what?
Yeah.
So Cheryl's whole thing is like...
The cats were important to Cheryl because they were to be the vessels that would save all of us, and yes, the cats would eventually turn into a human.
These cats will eventually turn into humans. And I'm like, so are you telling me that I have to have 50 cats and then one day they're all going to become a person?
Like 50
So now
kids?
I have 50 people in my house?
Oh, my God.
And Connie's like, look, man, I don't know. It didn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now. I can't explain it.
Yes.
And then Connie says... Connie, love you for this. She went from being a woman of God to a nutcase. I'm like, Connie, it was not a long jump. She started out a nutcase. She was just hiding it from me.
Connie says, like, this is when the cult they start to turn on each other, because Connie's like, I was at such a low point. I was losing my mind. And she's like, I wanted to get out. I didn't know what to do. I went to a friend who was in the cult.
She tells her husband's like, fuck yeah, let's go.
And she goes with the friend like holds her and lets her cry like all afternoon. And then Connie gets gets home. She's not home 15 minutes before Cheryl is knocking on the fucking door to scream at her because the friend called Cheryl the second Connie left her house. Why do we do this to each other?
Ratted her out. Big time.
Like, even Mary's gonna say, her and her sister Rachel were so tight. They were such good friends. When they start to lose it themselves, they couldn't even talk to their sister about it.
You couldn't trust, it's like the mob. You can't trust anyone.
Oh my God.
Like, you get sent
You'd be a lockbox. If we got stuck in a cult, I would know that I could talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't.
Because I'd be doing it to, like, take notes and get it shut down.
You'd be Elizabeth Mossling. We'd be out of there. You'd get Look What You Made Me Do Taylor's version, and we'd be out in 5 seconds.
I'm too scared to watch Handmaid's Tale.
Me too. No, me too. I'm too scared.
So I don't know. I know she's in it. I don't know the reference, but I'm like, it feels like it would maybe be the best idea for my mental health at this moment in time.
I don't know if I've ever told you this, but there was an original movie in the 90s of The Handmaid's Tale. It was a movie, not a series.
Yeah.
I don't know the lore of the thing, but like one of the main characters' homes was the fucking Peterson home. The Michael Peterson, Kathleen Peterson.
What?
And there is a scene.
The one like
the movie from
died?
the 90s. Yes, there's a scene shot on the staircase.
Oh my God.
You can YouTube it. It's there. There's one of the handmaids that's coming down the staircase that Kathleen Peterson eventually dies on.
When he was still living there?
I think this was before the Petersons owned it. But it was like, it's shot in the Peterson house. You can YouTube it. It's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So here's what's happening. The cat rescue is a front for the cult. Everyone knows it.
Yes.
Especially the people in the cult. And people had upwards of 30, 50 cats in their house. Everyone's miserable. Everyone's being abused. The cats, the humans.
Yeah.
And Mary's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Yes.
I can't do this anymore. She knows it's bullshit. She knows it's a cult. She's miserable.
Yeah.
But she's like, okay, but once again, Cheryl will ruin my life. What do I do?
So now we jump back in time to be with Mary and Mark. So Mark, remember, is Cheryl's ex-husband. And Mary was saying, like, we were trying so hard to, like, stay on good terms with Mark's kids, who are half in the cult and half with Mark. But it got to the point that they couldn't do it anymore. And Mark says to Mary,
if I ever saw his children, that I should run the other way and call 911 because there was only one reason why they would be here, and that would be to kill me.
The only reason they would be here would be to kill you.
Can you imagine?
No.
No.
And those poor kids that are, like, they're now adults, but, like, they've been so abused and brainwashed all their lives that there's even the idea that they would be trained to kill. It's insane.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. Like, as a parent, watching yourself lose your children and have no control over it, it's horrible.
Yeah, by, like, the person that you thought you were going to raise them with.
Yes.
And it's not, it's not just by any cult, which would be hard enough, but it's like you were married to this woman.
Yeah.
Like, that's their mother. Who should be taking care of them. And
right, because it's twofold. You've lost your kids, and also you know that they've been brainwashed and abused.
By this person who betrayed all of you.
Yeah.
Mary wants to leave, but she's
Marry
like...
the lesbian.
Yeah, marry the lesbian. She's like, but one, Cheryl will ruin my life. And two, she doesn't want to leave her sister, Rachel, who's also in the cult.
Exactly.
So we're at movie night. They all go see the DaVinci Code together.
The whole cult goes to see the DaVinci Code together.
And this is weirdly a major turning point.
So the thing is, you haven't seen it, so it's hard to explain it, but, like, it's a fascinating movie. And, like, in the movie, it's a book that was made into a movie.
Yes.
And in the story of the DaVinci Code, Mary Magdalene is not a sex worker, as she is thought to be in the Bible. She's actually Jesus's wife.
Right.
And the whole thing is about the bloodline of Jesus that, like, was secretly hidden. Mary and Jesus had a kid, and then that kid was spirited away. And the bloodline of Jesus, like, has lived on to modern times, like, to this day.
Who's the kid? We don't know.
I don't want to give a spoiler, but, like, in the book, I won't tell you, but, like, one of the characters in the book turns out to be in the bloodline of Jesus.
Like a name I know.
No. It's like one of the characters. If you read the book, you would know the character. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Sure.
It's one of the characters in the book. It is revealed in the book to be within the bloodline of Jesus.
Okay.
But so Mary Magdalene becomes, like, an incredibly important person in the history of Christianity. And so now, after seeing the movie...
And that is probably the pivotal point of Cheryl beginning to say she is Mary Magdalene. She has come back to the earth now as Cheryl, but she truly is Mary Magdalene.
I'm absolutely Mary Magdalene.
But then 5 seconds after that, she's like, you know what? Scratch that. I'm actually Jesus.
I know.
And I'm going to be putting my blood in all the wine, and everyone is forced to drink it.
Literally, she's cutting her hand at communion in her church and making everybody drink her blood wine, and everybody does it. Like,
we started with the salt.
Oh my God. That is blood chilling to me.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Unsafe.
Yes.
Unsanitary.
Absolutely.
So Beth Karas is here to be like, what is the point of all this? What is the point of your cult? Like, why are you doing this? It feels like Cheryl doesn't even know. She just wants the attention
and the
power.
money. And it comes down to like attention and money. So we're back with Rod. Rod is the one who lives in British Columbia, and his wife like was like, hey, you got to come to the cult with me. And he's like, okay, I will.
Yeah.
He's the one that saw the salt, like that whole thing.
And he's like,
So what's happening now is Rod is like, we were expecting a tax return and we were going to pay bills and save some money. Nope. The wife decides to... What? The other thing I don't understand here, why are we not naming the wife? Why are we not giving the wife's name and finding her?
I think maybe for like legal purposes, I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
She's gonna abscond with their children, and like I'm like, we have an opportunity to like say her name and the children's name. Why aren't we doing that?
He must have been advised not to for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Well, this is the beginning of it because she like takes the tax return without telling him, cashes the check, and gives all the money to Cheryl.
Yeah. Now we meet Carol, Rod's sister. This is another thank God you're here moment.
Yes.
You could just tell Carol is on top of it.
Well, because what Beth Karras makes the point that Rod has the one advantage that most people in the cult don't have, which is he's got people that are close to him that are not in the cult that are good at researching and can sort of shake him by the shoulders and be like, what are you doing?
But
You're in a cult.
Rod is also kind of halfway there.
Yes.
He's like, what's with the salt communion? Is this Jim Jones? Like he doesn't love the cult. And he's like, weird. My wife is only nice to me when I'm cool with the cult. And when I'm not cool with the cult, she's stealing our money. And she's stealing our money, which is a major red flag.
Exactly.
So Rod is kind of like with it. So his sister Carol starts organizing. She's awesome. She starts organizing everything. She's taking notes. She's collecting all of the correspondence between the wife and Cheryl and like everyone. Carol is on top of it.
Which becomes very important because in September 2004, Rod's wife gives him an ultimatum. And she says to him, you have until September 24th, which is basically
7 days.
Right. To submit to Cheryl and her teaching and leadership and turn the entire family finances over to me so I can turn them over to Cheryl. And if you don't do that thing within the next 5 days, I'm leaving and I'm taking the kids.
Now, what's interesting is that this was on a Saturday.
Yes.
On Monday, Rod goes to work as usual.
Yes.
And I guess he thought she was bluffing or something. But like on Monday, I'd be at like the open government building to go take care of this. Rod
does not do that.
Goes to work. So I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying he must have been like, well, I have 4 days left.
Right. And like we are gonna see
to figure this the fuck out.
Right, because the wife, we're gonna learn, has been working on this for months and months. She's ready to go. But so is Carol, the sister.
So he comes home on Monday. Rod goes to work as usual on Monday. So this was Saturday. He has 7 days. Monday, he goes to work.
And I came home from work and the house was empty. And I went into my son's room and there were all these goodbye cards.
Everything's gone. The kids are gone. The shit is gone. Everything's gone.
Carol, the sister, is like, that was Monday. By Tuesday, we were in court because I had all my research ready to go.
Yep.
Hell yeah, Carol.
And like essentially the judge 100% sides with Rod, where the judge is like, I mean, it's Canada, thank the Lord.
I mean,
you know?
I was like, the judge actually does the right thing.
Yeah, because the judge is like,
where we were for a second.
Right. The judge is like, she's terrifying. This whole cult is a danger to the kids. You've got 100% custody of the kids, which is great on paper, but nobody knows where the kids actually are.
And no one knows where the ex is. No one knows where the kids are. Rod has full custody, which honestly could only be bad for the wife. Because if Ron, for many reasons, but like, just follow me on this. Ron has full custody and now she's taken his kids from him.
Yes.
So with that decision being made without her knowledge, she just broke a bunch of laws simply by existing with the kids.
And somehow it gets back to her. She calls Rod and she's like, I'm coming home. I'm bringing the kids back only because the judge has mandated it.
Because he's like, is she going to cross the border? Is she going to leave the country? Like, what is going on?
Now, the wife, for the next 6 months, like Rod and the wife are in counseling. She says, what?
This made me crazy.
I know,
I was like,
I know.
Like Beth Karras says this sentence and I'm like, every word gets worse than the one before it. Rod sits through 6 months of counseling with a minister with the goal of reconciliation.
I know.
No! Absolutely not! Like counseling,
I know.
boom. Minister, boom. Reconciliation, like
boom.
It just keeps getting worse. Well, what minister? One of Cheryl's little lemmings? What are you talking? What are you saying to me?
I know. I always feel that way when there's like religious counseling. I'm like, can you just go to an actual therapist? I know.
If you want to, like, I need to get to, that's different. But like with the counseling, with a relationship, when like, who is this minister?
And that's what we keep saying is that people they're not realizing how dangerous these cults are. If you have a spouse or a partner and children and that spouse or partner is taking the kids to the cult, they are so far gone by the time you find out about it. You got to save the kids.
And guess what? The wife tricks Rod.
Yeah, for 6 months, she goes to this counseling with him saying they're going to get back together. She's not going to Cheryl. She's not seeing Cheryl. She's not in the cult.
It was probably a minister that Rod chose and the wife went along and lied the whole time.
And because what ends up happening is that Rod thinking that they're in a good place allows the kids, they're still separated, and he allows the kids to move permanently in with her while they, quote, look for another house together.
She convinces him to
sign the papers.
She convinces him to let the kids change their primary address to her address.
And sign papers saying they're not going to get divorced anymore.
This is such a trap.
Yeah.
And every single second for 6 months, she knew she was full of shit.
Yeah, and so the second the papers are signed, she literally walks up to Rod in the backyard and is like, hey, guess what?
She said, you know, I've been going to Freedom Fire the whole time. I've now established status quo with the children here, and I'm keeping them with me.
You're never going to be able to undo this. The kids are mine, and we are leaving.
Can you imagine?
No, and this is where Rod says, I was emotionally broken. I was financially broken. I didn't have the will or the means to fight. And I'm like, yes, you do, girl. You always do. You always have the means to fight for your kids.
Right.
I know. I can only imagine he felt like his legs were just cut out from underneath him.
He has no money.
He has no money.
No resources.
Always have to fight for your kids.
I agree. But like, this is all part of what Cheryl does. It's all the same pattern. So she'll like divide and conquer. She causes drama or chaos or divorce. She lies, she brainwashes, and then she's the one who reaps the financial rewards.
Yes.
Because even this wife who's stealing their tax return, the wife doesn't get it. It goes right to Cheryl.
It goes right to Cheryl. Yes.
And so the point is, Cheryl gets all of their money because she was forcing people to break up.
Yes.
She's getting all the divorce settlements, or people are just handing her hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mary cashes out a retirement plan. I had to look up what the letters meant. It's a retirement plan for $100,000. She gives $58,000 of it to Cheryl.
Yeah. Or she's taking their money, or then forcing people to spend all of their money on the cats.
Yes.
Which I'm saying, like, the animals deserve it. Like, they should have loving homes. But what Cheryl would do is, like, buy all these supplies at cost.
She gets the cats for free, then charges $75 a cat as she's making you take them.
And then she would be like, well, they need kitty litter or whatever.
We would have to buy particular cat food, the particular cat litter, and we had to buy it from Cheryl. Cheryl bought it in lots, and then we were required to buy it from Eva Zedin. It was actually very costly.
And then make you, the cult member, buy it at this exorbitant price.
Yes.
So can I just ask, what do you think Cheryl was doing with these millions of dollars, making the world a better place?
No, she got better tits.
Yeah, she got tits. She's getting elective plastic surgery.
She got better tits. I was like, oh, but you know what though? It's because she's got to use her sexuality to get these people to give her the money.
Yeah.
It's an investment in the business, girl.
But like, not with everyone. So I'm just curious, like, what she was doing, because she wasn't doing it with Connie.
No, right.
Like, I just wonder what. And the cult, it doesn't matter.
Because
the point is that, like,
she was doing the equivalent with Connie. So like Mary, the lesbian, needed love and sex, right? And so that's what she gave her. And
then took it away.
And so whatever Connie's equivalent to that was, she gave it and took it away.
Of course, they're like masters at this.
Yeah.
So 2012, Connie's father, his health is in decline. He has Alzheimer's, and Connie has to leave the cult. She's like, fuck it, no. This kind of wakes her up of like, oh, my dad needs me. I want to be with him. I want to be with my family. Like, I'm done.
And she knows she can't be honest with Cheryl or the cult because they will try to talk her out of going to be with her dying father.
And so she wants to go. The cult is probably going to keep her. And her husband's like, hi,
I know.
This woman is a grifter. She's ripping us apart.
Great tits, but we gotta go.
And
I
I just heard, you're tearing me apart, Lisa, from the room. Tommy Wiseau, you're tearing me apart, Lisa. Oh, hi, Mark. So Connie leaves the cult. She doesn't tell anyone where they're going for her protection.
She says, for my own protection.
And then we just have like this brief moment where we meet Faith. Like today we meet Faith, Connie's daughter. She was
her sixth adopted daughter.
Yeah. They left Washington when Faith was 12, and they're sort of like hugging and crying, kind of coming to this realization with us that like, if they didn't leave, they wouldn't be together probably.
And
like God knows.
We learned this thing about Connie where she was adopting kids with special needs.
In 2009, we adopted our sixth kid. That particular year, the Internal Revenue, they were paying adoptive families monies back, especially if you were adopting special needs children. We ended up with the refund being $28,000. We gave her $7,000 of it.
What I took from that also is that Cheryl was encouraging them to do that for the money.
They don't say that explicitly, but yes.
That's sort of what I inferred.
Yeah.
Is that the right
Meanwhile,
word?
also making them take 50 cats.
Right.
I mean, that's
and then
crazy.
Spending all the money. Like, there's a way to save the animals and take care of kids who need you.
Yes.
Without doing it this way. Like, we can do it all. I promise you. In a healthier way for everyone that doesn't involve abuse.
Yeah.
I swear. I know it sounds crazy, but that is possible. So it's February 2013. It's Mark's, the guy guy at the head of this where we were like, oh, she's going to be murdered.
Yeah.
But he's
Cheryl's
alive.
ex-husband.
So Mark's daughter is turning 18 and he can't get in touch with her. He wants to wish her happy birthday. Can't talk to anyone. So Mark goes to check out the house. The house is empty. They left. Like, they bailed.
Yeah.
And so...
And what's really fucked about this is that Cheryl waited until Olivia, the daughter, is the youngest, and she just turned 18. So she's now, they're all legal adults. So there's literally nothing Mark can do.
But they left at the stroke of midnight, actually, like 12:00 and 1 second when she's actually 18.
Yep.
So now there's like nothing, they like drive to Tennessee in the middle of the night.
Yes.
The second this girl turns 18, which is so that Mark can't do anything about it.
Right.
It's like cruel, it's painful, but it's all part of her plan. And like the law is kind of like, I don't know what to tell you.
They're legal adults. They can literally do whatever they want.
And so Mary...
Mary goes, like they're relocating the cult to Tennessee. Mary is, quote, this is the lesbianist way to say it.
And in the bus was cats, chickens, guns, and gold. We were moving all the precious items for Cheryl. It was so shady.
Cats, chickens, guns, and gold, baby.
Yeah, assault rifles.
Yeah.
Because God knows, can't have one without the other.
No, but like Mary has now moved the cult to Tennessee because like it's getting too hot up there in Bellingham.
And Cheryl's like, by the way, keep your fucking trap shut. Lie to your family, lie to your job. If you're leaving a job, don't tell them where you're going, like lie to them.
Yep.
So Cheryl moves everyone to Tennessee and buys a 42-acre property. And Mark learns about it because Olivia, the daughter that just turned 18 and was basically stolen in the middle of the night, posts about it on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's like Cheryl's lying to everybody. Mark calls the sheriff. I want to do a welfare check on my adult kids. He calls Cheryl. She tells him.
Sheriff.
I mean, it's one of those things where everyone is just believing all of Cheryl's lies.
This idiot sheriff is like, but did you see the tits on that one? Like, obviously you're the abuser. Because, I mean, Carol, Rod's sister, says, like, I'll tell you what happened. That sheriff saw her tits.
Yeah.
Like, she says that, and she goes, you know what? They were bowling balls in a tight sweater. Okay. All right. And she does that hand movement that's like, okay, you know, what do you want me to say?
And like Rod, remember, he's the one from Canada. His wife and kids can't move to Tennessee because there's like a court order against it, but she still like secreted the kids away and is still like...
She's like out there.
And she's incredibly loyal to Shush. They're still in the cult.
They're still out there. So we're in Columbia, Tennessee. It's 2013. Mary is living there. They bleep out her job. Mary says, I got a bleep job.
Oh, I think she said I got a shit job, like a bad job.
Oh.
I think that's what she said. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe, because we didn't see her face when she said it, so I couldn't try to like read her lips. But I was like, why did they bleep? Like, weird. Oh, Beth, we can't curse. What is this, HBO? It's not TV, it's HBO. We're talking about abuse of all kinds on these fucking shows, and we can't say the word shit.
I know, but like Mary's she's got this like crappy job. She's got all those fucking cats. She wanted to get out so badly. And I said, she still has 14 cats. This is just so gay.
And finally, like a woman appears.
Yes, who's not in the cult.
And Mary's like working on her music and she meets this woman.
Yeah.
And confides in her. They like start dating right away and she confides in her girlfriend, tells her about the cult, tells her how she's miserable, tells her that she wants to leave. And the girlfriend is like, you know what, Mary, you and your 14 cats, you're moving in with me.
She's like, I know a lesbian with a U-Haul. You're moving in tomorrow.
Let's go.
And she literally did.
And then Mary feels the confidence to tell her sister Rachel, who's also in the cult, but not just that she's leaving the cult, but that Mary's gay.
And that she's in a relationship. And like Mary tells this amazing story that like I'm sobbing, my sister is sobbing, and we can finally talk to each other about all of the shit that we've been going through with Cheryl. Because that's the whole point of Cheryl making them all turn on each other, is that they can't be allowed to share common experience.
And it's why cult leaders and abusers isolate.
Exactly.
This is why.
Exactly.
Because any social interaction will ruin everything. Even like a kind word at the post office.
Right.
You know, even seeing someone out in the wild who's like, girl, are you okay? Like at the checkout counter or whatever. And it's like, hey, are you okay? Anything like that. That's why they like start their own restaurants. And so everything is contained.
Oh my God.
So that you can't go to like CVS and maybe see a nice, kind person and be like, I want to leave. Oh my God, can you help me? Like, really?
And Mary says, I've seen because she tells Cheryl that she's leaving. And she says, I've seen other people tell Cheryl that they were leaving and Cheryl gets really nasty with them.
The reason why I think she was much softer with me is because she's afraid of what I'm doing right now. I'm talking about my story and I'm stepping up to say, this is what happened.
Mary knows too much, including the lesbian sex.
Yep.
And she's afraid she's afraid I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing right now and like sit down and talk about like putting on Come to My Window and banging in my bedroom.
Yeah. Which is exactly what happened.
Good job, Mary.
So Cheryl is insane, and rumors are flying that she's going to hire a hitman to kill Mark and his wife, also named Mary.
Yeah.
Which ends up being true.
Right.
So Mark's current wife, also Mary, is like, well, we decided that the best defense is a good offense. And I'm like, what exactly does that mean?
I know.
We can get very dangerous here very quickly.
Yeah. But basically, Mary, Mark's wife, starts a Facebook page about the cult in Tennessee. And like the Facebook page, I actually looked it up. The Facebook page took off.
Yeah.
It became a place for like survivors and escapees to come back and like tell their story. It turns into like a national news outlet sees it and like writes a story about it.
Well, in 2016, NashvilleScene.com wrote an article.
NashvilleScene.com.
Would you like to know what the title of the article is? Apocalypse Meow. How a cult that believes cats are divine beings ended up in Tennessee. Like, there's a lot.
Meow.
Call it Apocalypse Meow, but like, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
My God.
Because it's also like, how dangerous can the cat cult be? But like, obviously very, but like on the surface, it just all sounds kind of silly.
Yeah.
You know?
And so like we're trying to like wrap up people's stories. And remember Rick, the like big strong man, the like straight guy
the
or whatever?
one that almost killed Mark in his driveway?
So he goes on that podcast in 2021 and confirms everything about the cults. Like we heard a little bit of the podcast earlier.
Yeah.
But a few months after he goes on this podcast,
We tried to locate Rick Madrid, and we were surprised by what we found.
Hello?
Hi, is this Rick Madrid?
No, Rick Madrid passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did.
He dies.
Mysteriously dies in his sleep.
And they say it was like sleep apnea, and Beth Karras says we never get an answer on this because he died in New Mexico, and New Mexico will not release death records to anybody but the family members. She says they couldn't find like a published obituary, so they can't even confirm that Rick Madrid is actually dead.
Or how he died or
Right.
anything like that.
Yeah.
So everyone here, literally every talking head is like, tell me that's not suspicious.
Did she do it?
So at this point, like the only way to get Cheryl is through tax evasion to follow the money and see where it goes.
Yeah,
and I bet
it's
it's not going to the IRS. It's going to her tits.
Yeah.
She also has like a lot of precious metals. What's that about?
I know. She's just crazy and out there, and like the cult is still raging.
Yeah, they eventually moved to Kentucky, and now instead of Eva's Eden, it's DaVinci's Dream, like the DaVinci Code, and now it's like cats and dogs,
Right.
and like I just hope all the animals are okay. I googled DaVinci's Dream, and it was in a news article where they like went to a hoarder's house, and all the animals from the hoarder's house went. Like DaVinci's Dream was one of the shelters that some of the animals went to. So like they are actively, I think they were saving some cats' lives, but like living in filth like that is animal abuse. So I hope they're taking care of the animals at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that like on the surface, like the reason why these cult leaders in these like small time cults don't get investigated is because like it doesn't seem like we get these individual stories, which we needed because these people, like any one of them could have killed themselves. Any one of them, like these kids' lives are being ruined. They're being ripped away from their actual pet. But on the surface, it's like, what? It's just a cat cult. Who cares?
And the law will always be like, well, you went there.
Exactly.
You gave her the money. And like the law doesn't recognize coercive control at all.
Right. And that's why Beth Karras is like, if they're going to get her, it's going to have to be on tax evasion because she's stealing all the money from these, she's getting them to give her their money and she's not paying taxes on it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, they're never gonna. She's
gonna.
way too small time. Even though she's destroying lives every day, she's way too small time for the IRS or anybody to actually really care about.
Yeah. So Mary says...
Mary the lesbian?
She ends this. I love how this ends.
Yeah.
She says...
If anybody's listening to this that's still stuck in a very deep, dark place with someone who manipulates you and tells you if you leave, these bad things will happen to you, I promise you it won't. You will only find life and authenticity on the other side of those lies.
You will only, this like almost made me cry. She goes, you will only find life and authenticity on the other side of those lies.
Yes.
And I'm like, fuck yes, Mary.
Yes.
And also for the record, she loved cats before Cheryl.
She totally did.
And she goes, Cheryl doesn't get to ruin cats for Mary or anyone, or any one of us, actually. How dare she? And of course, Cheryl never responded to producers. Are you shocked?
Yeah, of course.
Are you shocked?
Oh my God, girl. We did the weird cat cult one.
Yeah, the curious case of the Doomsday cat cult.
It's a good one. It's a good, interesting app. It's wild. Yeah,
I think we went off the rails there a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed it.
Fam, don't forget, join the Facebook group. It's the True Crime Obsessed podcast discussion group. Join us on Patreon if you want all the bonus episodes. I'm telling you right now, the Karen Reed thing is insane.
Yeah, we're going to refill our glasses of water and dive right into that.
We have to. We're doing it right now.
Yep.
What are we doing next?
We are doing, so you know that show Hollywood Demons on HBO Max?
Oh, yeah.
We're doing Stephen Collins' Once America's Dad about the Seventh Heaven dad who's a pedophile.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worse than I thought, to be honest.
Is it really?
I didn't know that, like, his wife was involved in outing him. It's a whole thing.
Have you seen the guy on TikTok who was recapping Seventh Heaven episodes?
He's in this documentary.
Oh my God, he's the
guy who did the TikTok where he goes through Never Been Kissed and he's like, this is horrifying. He's in this thing.
Yes. All right. All right, well, stay tuned for the trailer for that. And that's it. We love you.
Yeah, we love you.
All right, bye.
Bye.